You ever sit down with your morning coffee, just trying to get your day started, and somebody nearby will not stop screaming? Not your kids, not the neighbor's lawnmower. I'm talking about a woman on YouTube with a brass bullhorn, 3 donation links in her bio, and a theory about everything, including, but not limited to, the FBI, the Guthrie family, Chris Cuomo, world domination, Florida road development, and the moral failings of mainstream media. Every single morning. I'm CramaReels. This is Grounds for Concern, where we sip our coffee slow, read the receipts carefully, and figure out where the facts end and the fog machine starts. Let's get into it. For those of you who haven't had the pleasure yet, Bullhorn Betty is a self-described independent journalist and true crime content creator based in Florida. She streams on YouTube, sometimes daily, covering missing persons and true crime cases. Her audience, and bless their hearts, they are loyal. She calls them her coffee beans, which is cute. It's very cute. Until you realize the coffee beans are being asked to open their wallets at the end of nearly every stream, via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and paid memberships, all 4 in one stream. Now, she covers real cases, real missing people, real families in crisis, and she does it with a lot of passion, a lot of volume, and, this is the part we're here to talk about, a very flexible relationship with verified information. This week, Bullhorn Betty did 12 streams covering the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Nancy went missing from her home in Tucson, Arizona on February 1st of this year. That's a real case, a real missing elderly woman, and it deserves real, careful coverage. So, let's see what we got. Stream 1, June 19th. Title: Shocking. Savannah Guthrie absent while mom remains missing. Betty opens, as she opens every single stream, with, "Good morning, my beautiful coffee beans," then pivots immediately into criticizing Savannah Guthrie for being absent from the Today Show. Now, Savannah Guthrie's mother is missing. The woman is clearly going through something none of us can imagine. But Betty's read on the absence is that it might be suspicious, or a decoy, or possibly related to a trip to LA that might be about the voice. She's not sure. She has no evidence, but she has opinions, and those opinions have a microphone. In this same stream, Betty also mentions, and I want you to hold on to this one, that she, quote, used to work in this field of law. The legal terms just aren't coming to her brain today. It is what it is. She also calls Savannah Guthrie a pig at one point, then walks it back. And to her credit, she does own it. She says she was wrong. She apologizes. That part? Actually fine. Accountability is accountability. Less fine? That same stream includes a detour into Florida road development, Byron Donalds, and the concern that tech companies want world domination, in a stream about a missing 84-year-old woman in Arizona. Stream 2, June 20th. Title: Nancy Guthrie's case has a breakthrough? Is this more smoke? Is it a breakthrough? It is not a breakthrough. Betty herself calls it hyperbole. The title asks if it's smoke. Spoiler, she concludes it's smoke. The title of the video is the question. The answer is in the video. The answer is no. We could have saved about 2.5 hours if the title just said, Probably not a breakthrough, but let's chat. Also in this stream, Betty spends a meaningful portion of the first hour adjusting her OBS encoder settings and bitrate, while 480 people watch, live, on camera. She notes the CPU usage has improved. Groundbreaking content. Streams 3 and 4, June 21st. 2 streams in one day. First, I think we missed a critical detail. Second, a 10-step plan to solve her case. The critical detail stream focuses heavily on a private citizen named Luke Daly, who lives within 2.5 miles of the Guthrie home. Betty notes he had a federal search warrant executed at his property, appeared to have a swollen hand in footage, and changed his appearance. She presents this across multiple streams as deeply suspicious. To her credit, she does include a disclaimer. Luke Daly has not been charged, arrested, or named as an official suspect. That disclaimer is there. It is, however, sandwiched between lengthy speculation presented with significant confidence. When the disclaimer is quieter than the theory, the disclaimer isn't really doing its job. The 10-step plan stream reviews a retired FBI agent's proposed investigative steps. Betty agrees with several of them. This is actually one of her more grounded streams. She raises legitimate questions about the Pima County Sheriff's Department releasing the crime scene within 30 hours. That's a fair question. We'll give her that one. Stream 5, June 22nd. Title: Breaking News. 4 bodies discovered. Note: this title implies 4 bodies connected to the Guthrie case. They are not. This stream, and I want you to appreciate this, was an accident. Betty accidentally went live while testing her encoder. Now, earlier in her career, Betty said on camera that anyone who accidentally goes live definitely meant to. Quote, "You surely meant to." She did not mean to today. She confirms this. She is genuinely embarrassed. To her credit, she owns it immediately. But she does keep the stream going for 2 hours to test the encoder. And the donation link stays up. Stream 6, June 23rd. Title: Disturbing. Was Nancy Guthrie buried in nature 6 days after abduction? The most densely packed stream of the week. Also the one where, near the 3-hour mark, Betty pitches her donation links: Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, memberships. Quote, "Any place, anything that you guys would like to do to help." Help with what exactly? The investigation? The stream? The encoder? Unclear. Streams 7, 8, and 9, June 24th. 3 streams in one day. Yo FBI, release the ransom notes. OMG, it might be real. Missing Nova Scotia kids update. The FBI stream calls on the Bureau to release the ransom notes publicly. This is not how federal investigations work. The FBI is not going to release active case evidence because a Florida content creator hollered at them from her home studio. But, points for passion. The OMG stream is where Betty starts walking back some of her ransom note skepticism. Earlier in the week, she was fairly convinced the notes were fake. Now she thinks they might be real. The title says OMG. The exclamation point is doing a lot of work. The Nova Scotia stream covers the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, a genuinely devastating case involving 2 young children. This is Betty at her most earnest, least performative. Worth noting, when she slows down, the content is actually more effective. Stream 10, June 25th. Title: Can the fake ransom lead us to Porch Guy? Porch Guy is Betty's nickname for the masked individual seen in surveillance footage at the Guthrie home. Talking about public footage is reasonable. Investigators and media have been discussing it openly. The issue is the leap from "this footage exists" to "here is who I think it probably is" across multiple streams involving named private individuals. That leap is doing a lot of heavy lifting, and it's not the footage doing the lifting. Stream 11, June 26th. Title: Can We Trust MSM? Ransom Contradictions. Mainstream media is withholding the ransom notes for clicks and views, Betty argues. And listen, that may even be true. But the same critique she applies to mainstream media is, with respect, also applicable to a channel that titles streams "shocking," "disturbing," and "OMG" to drive clicks. That's not a defense of mainstream media. That's just the receipts being receipts. Stream 12, June 27th. Title: Chris Cuomo says, "I'll pay." Nancy Guthrie ransom letters. Chris Cuomo of News Nation publicly offered to pay for information related to the ransom notes. Betty spends a significant portion of this stream calling him Big Papa, repeatedly, enthusiastically, with what can only be described as chaotic energy. She questions whether his offer is about the case or about clicks, which is again a fair critique, and again cuts both ways. Because at one point she literally says, and this is a direct quote, "Big Papa, buy me some ransom notes." While her donation goal graphic is on screen, let's talk about a phrase that is working overtime on this channel. That phrase is, "I believe." Now, "I believe" and "in my opinion" are legitimate qualifiers. Journalists use them, commentators use them, they exist for a reason. I use them myself. The issue is volume and placement. When "I believe" appears dozens of times per stream, it starts functioning less as a disclaimer and more as a permission slip. I believe Savannah Guthrie leaked the ransom notes to the media. I believe the culprits live within 2 to 5 miles of the home. I believe law enforcement was pressured to clear the family. And then, this is the one that stopped me cold, from the June 24th stream. Direct quote, "I don't have anything to support my theory, but I feel it was Savannah that leaked all this stuff." There it is. That sentence is doing a full split. Half of it is honest, no evidence. The other half proceeds like the evidence doesn't matter. A missing 84-year-old woman has a family that is grieving and terrified, speculating across 12 streams that her famous daughter may be involved, may have leaked information, may be covering something up, with zero evidence. That's not journalism. That's not commentary. That's a theory being laundered through volume. I want to be clear about something before we wrap. Bullhorn Betty is not uniquely evil. She is not the only creator doing this. She is one example of a pattern that is extremely common in the true crime content space, and it needs to be named. The pattern goes like this. A high-profile tragedy occurs. A real family is in real pain. Content creators descend on the story. Stream daily, sometimes multiple times daily. Generate hours of speculation framed as investigation. Build audiences on the emotional weight of someone else's worst moment. And collect donations along the way. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, memberships, while doing it. There's a word for this. Several, actually. But the one that fits here is grief grifting, using tragedy as a content engine. The family didn't ask for this coverage. The investigators didn't ask for armchair analysis. But the algorithm rewards volume and emotion, so the streams keep coming. The tell is always the same. The titles get more dramatic as the facts get thinner. Shocking, disturbing, OMG, breaking. When the caps lock is working harder than the sourcing, that's your sign. Nancy Guthrie is a real person. She is still missing as of this recording. Her family is living through something unimaginable. They deserve better than 12 streams of speculation, donation pitches, and a nickname for the suspect in the surveillance footage. And the coffee beans deserve better too. They deserve a creator who tells them clearly when something is fact, when something is theory, and when the honest answer is simply, we don't know yet. That's episode 1 of Grounds for Concern. We'll be back next week with another cup and another set of receipts. If you want to support content that actually cites its sources, hit subscribe and share this with somebody who needs it. I'm CramaReels. I'll see y'all in the next one.